Hello people, how you doing? Yes, this is my current life. I'm finally on half term and I get to take some time to rest. And obviously, in that time to rest, I finally made it into my inbox. I knew I was behind, okay? But I didn't realize the extent to which I was behind. This video is from the middle of September, so a good month. And actually, the person who sent it to me did not even send it from the original page, so I don't know if this was delayed or not. But anyway, can I put the disclaimers in before we get started? So, those of you who are Korra Obiidi fans and enemies, I greet Una. You have two options. Discipline yourself, stay and watch this because you are capable of emotional regulation. Or if you know that that's not a possibility, bounce because I don't have patience for foolishness. Same thing goes for the Justin Dean fans. Those of you who have ears but can't hear a thing, all you need is a name and your foolishness is activated. Get off. Because you see, in this mood, whilst I am trying to relax, and especially in this week when I have time, I will get time to read your comments. I will have time to fire your nyash right back, and I'm in the mood for it. Let me put that disclaimer in from the beginning because this conversation is around that. But it's around that about something that I talk about is why these people were tagging me, and yes, it is way out of date. But that's when I've had time to respond. Okay? All right. So, let's get to the basics. Korra Obiidi made a video and said that she had got a job, she'd got a gig for her daughter. I think it was a modeling gig. And she'd contacted the other parents that she's co-parenting with to share the news. And the guy had certainly not supported, and so the girl couldn't work. And naturally, the Korra fans were all over it. The guy is evil, and the guy is there, and the guy is do. And this person contacted me because this person is a student of mine. And this person knows my position around children creatives. And so the person says, Amma, you've got to speak on this. And I'm sorry that it's way overdue, but I'm going to speak on it. Now, if you know me for 5 seconds, you will know that I believe parents should work to take care of children. And when children are old enough to work, they can go and work for themselves. I create on social media. My children, when they were under 18, will not be seen on my feed unless they chose to come on the feed when I was on. So the children know that I'm creating my content. If they come in frame whilst I am on there, well, they are choosing to be there. But even then, the content was never really about them. Now, with my son in university, my son was employed as my social media manager, and he was here doing stuff. So I talk about that on many levels, and this is why this person drew me into it. So let me declare my positions, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. I think parents should work to care for children. I think it's very problematic when parents put children to work. Because you know what? When children are put to work and some of their money is used for family decisions, to take care of family needs, it always ends in tears. And these children feel exploited by their parents. You can see this from the child actors and the children singers, and how this comes off in the end. I'll give you Macaulay Culkin as the number one example, but he's not the only one. There are many, many people. At some point, Macaulay and his family don't even have a good relationship because he says that all it was for his parents was to palm him off to work so that they didn't work. And there are lots of children who grew up feeling that way. When a parent puts a kid to work and you need money, you will have to be some incredibly dense person to need the money and decide not to use the money. You are actually between a rock and a hard place at that point, because if you choose to put the money down and to make the kid suffer, you will be questioned. Why are you making the child suffer when he already has money? And if you make the mistake to take this money to try and make your life and the child's life easy, why have you touched the money? So that is a problem. And that's something I don't recommend. Okay, I'm not a fan of. And actually, I think operating in the arts, being in the limelight, has its own issues and tendencies around mental health. So I am not a fan of children working. So with that disclaimer, let's get to the conversation. Korra has decided that she wants to keep her children in this social space. She's opened pages for them. She says June joined the agency when she was 1. So that would suggest that herself and the ex-husband were both on board with June joining this agency. I am just guessing. I wasn't there. But they were together at that time, and I've never heard the guy say that Korra went and signed the baby up to a modeling agency at 1 against his wishes. So that's what I'm going to say. Based on the information available to me, it seems to me that the two of them wanted to put this kid to the agency and to explore that avenue. Okay. Now the marriage has disintegrated and the girl has got a gig. Again, see, I like to be logical and I like to be as fair as possible to people in your analysis. The other partner is going to think, why am I going to watch you use our daughter to make money? Especially considering how things are working for these two guys. From what we can see on the media spaces, we can see the disparities in their acquisitions, the disparities in things that are around and suggestive of incomes and money situations and whatnot. Again, I can only tell you what I infer from what I see. So why would a guy who has a kid with you, who has not managed to end a relationship with you in peace, want you to put that kid to work to make your life easy without him getting an in? If you parents are going to exploit, those who are interested in the exploitation would suggest that it's split 50-50, especially if the kid is going to work and the kid is both of your kid, and you can both take your share and whatnot. It's not my taste, but it is logical. It's logical to my ear that both of you could have decided, okay, the relationship ended. We are going to exploit this opportunity. I will give you 10%. I will take 10%. And both of us will check and make sure 80% goes into the child's trust fund. That could be a possibility. Or I'm going to take this kid. I'm going to pursue deals. And I'm going to use this girl in this way. And you feel free to also find ways in which you can monetize and you could do whatever. Again, as I said, working children, not my thing, but it could also be a logical arrangement between the parents. I'll find my deals and I keep my revenue. You find your deals and you keep your revenue. My concern there would be that the little girl could be very exploited. The girl could be overworked. But okay, let's take those things out of the question. Let's take it to the guy's perspective and think about the reasons why. If I was the guy, whether I was with you or without you, my decision would be the same and it will be held to the no. Yeah, held to the no. My daughter did a bit of stage coaching, and then after doing stage coach, the Lion King production came. And then I found myself walking this path of auditions. It was when we were in the middle of the audition process that I suddenly understood what was going on. Production, coming out of school, going into the And thankfully for us, it didn't. But actually, my daughter was not going to go and work whilst my husband and I sit on our nyash. But that is me and my value systems. So those of you who've heard me talk about it, especially you who asked me to talk about this, you know my value system. My husband and I should never sit on our nyash and do mundane jobs and expect that the children and their talents were going to come and help us take care of our home. For me, that will make me an irresponsible parent. I'm not judging anybody else. I'm telling you me. and my positions. And I know this is why you wanted to draw me into this conversation. Me, I can talk about me. Yeah, it was not my thing. So if one day, even whilst we are married, my husband decided that he had found a gig for my daughter to do, and she would have been paid 10 trillion US dollars, my answer to my husband would have been hell to the no, because of where I stand. Okay. If we had ended the relationship and my husband was sitting in his corner and I was sitting in my corner, and I envisaged my husband was trying to take advantage of getting this kid to work so that it helped him in some way, it would have been hell to the no in capital letters. Same for me. Even me, I could exploit the kid and I could make money and I could help me. And I'm not suggesting that is what Korra is doing, because I don't know Korra. I've not spoken to Korra. I'm telling you what I see and what I think from my perspective, because this question has been asked to me. Amma, what do you think? Amma, what do you think? So I'm just telling you what I think. Korra and I don't come from the same village, so please don't expect that we have the same moral standing. Korra and I have never spoken, so I could not tell you what she's thinking and where she is. She may well have a trust fund and she's trying to help this girl raise money to put in her trust fund. I don't know, because even without this girl working, I think Korra is doing enough work to keep body and soul together. I don't know. I couldn't say, but I'm telling you, with me, I would not put my children to work, because to me, it is risky. It is a thing that could risk my relationship with my children if they ever felt that I would have exploited them to make some money, or I would have abused the money that they made from this venture. I've seen too many examples that convinces me that it's not a good idea. Many reasons why I don't like children working. There is the notion of exploitation, but there's also how children should be free to be children, to not carry the discipline of turning up for rehearsals, for auditions, for this, for that, because it's actually quite tasking, emotionally exhausting. An adult, it is a burden. Even me, an adult, working is an absolute burden for me. So imagine that burden on a much younger person who should be running around chasing ice cream vans and kicking this and chasing that and climbing this. I think children should be entitled to their childhood. The people who should guarantee children's childhood is the parents. It is your responsibility to do whatever it takes to keep body and soul and to create the environment which allows children to thrive without needing the children to contribute. Children, in my view, have no business contributing to family coffers. No matter how talented a kid is, that talent is for the kid. And the parents, yes, you may develop it for the kid, but the financial, monetary benefits of it should not be used for the parents and what should be your responsibility. Certainly, you should not be using children to work to pay a mortgage. You should not be using children to pay for rent. You should not be using children money to feed everybody and used it to help your brothers and sisters. No, that child is not the parent of the brother and sisters. So no, that child has no business helping you to take care of brothers and sisters. Okay, so I would love to extend the conversation. I'll put this first one out here. I've seen the one video, and it wasn't even the actual Korra's website. It was a lady, you know, the reaction channels as usual, and she had reacted about the guy destroying his daughter's opportunity and claiming that he loves the kids. I'm saying that it's actually possible for you to love your kid without allowing some opportunities. Yeah. I'm not going to jump and say because the guy didn't allow it, it means he hates his kid. No, actually, he might be looking to protect his kid. That is a possibility. And that doesn't in itself also mean that the mother was exploiting the